Hey guys, this is James, the non-professional, back with another episode of Draw. And today we're doing a redo of the last cartoon or comic book that I did. A lot of people liked it, but there's sometimes when you're just not satisfied with what you did. When you look back at a drawing and you realize that just there are certain elements that make a drawing interesting. There's certain elements that make a drawing engaging and dynamic that just weren't in the previous iteration. So, I redid it. Blew through the roughs, but because you guys have to watch me draw this essentially same thing, but not really same thing, there's a bonus at the end there. I do actually color this thing in full. So I put up the side by side there, the old drawing versus the new drawing, because I wanted to point out specific reasons why the new drawing is a better, art piece than the previous. So we'll start off with dynamics. First of all, the new drawing is more dynamic looking than the last one. If you noticed in the old picture in the upper right hand corner, her posture is very straight. As I said before, when you're doing dynamic poses, you needed a lot of C shapes. You need a lot of flowing, bending, and it makes everything look as though it's more so in motion. In this one, it looks like she's more flung onto Captain America, whereas the other one, her back is just sort of straight. The second thing that I didn't like about the previous drawing is her head. If, as I said earlier, that you measure in head sizes with regards to the length or the height of their body, well, Black Widow's head size in the previous drawing is too big for her body. Her entire head size should be the length of the middle of her shoulder down to her elbow, and it's not. It's actually, her head is actually bigger, so she looks like she's got this big head, like she's really, really young. And Black Widow isn't young; she's an adult, and she should look a little bit more mature, Second thing is the thickness of her thighs. Certainly people do have thick thighs, and that's a reality. But in comic book form, you want to make everything aesthetically more, embellished. In other words, a lot of times, women in comic book are going to appear skinnier, and men in comic book are going to appear beefier, obviously beefier, and your average person, you're not going to see the muscles through their armor like you would here. Through the scales. But comic books are different. They're an embellishment on the human form. So I went ahead and accentuated her posterior a little better in this one. And then I made her hips sort of curve as opposed to just sort of straight like in the previous one. And of course, these scales, as I pointed out earlier, I hate doing scales. So anyways, I made him modern because honestly, I don't like the old Captain America look. It just, for some reason, it looks weird to me, or it looks awkward to me. And I know that may offend a lot of old school comic book fans, but there's a reason why in the new movies they make his uniform different. They don't give him that scales all over his body like that, just because it looks dated. It just does. But I did include the wings, even though in the new comic book, the wings are just sort of painted onto the side. I actually have him with the physical wings on his head. Now, I'm not that disappointed with the old iteration of Captain America, even though I guess it just sounds like I am, but I'm not. I actually like the old iteration. I like the posture. I like the form. I like the anatomy that I did with the old Captain America. And I also like the new one. But I like the new uniform better than I'd like the old one, obviously, and you can make a judgment on what you like better, I suppose. But anyways, I did do colors just because you guys had to watch me do it all over again, and I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys who actually are bearing through a second iteration of this particular drawing. So one of the things also is the pouches on her belt that I guess you can go around her backside there. The pouches on it look so generic, look so amateurish in the previous iteration. I just sort of drew squares and it just didn't look right. See, with the new one, the pouches actually have a little bit more dimension. Like the flaps that cover and button up, they actually look like they're sort of popping out as opposed to just sitting flat on there. So I watched this video of Jim Lee drawing Superman, and I watched this video of Jim Lee drawing various things, and you'll notice that, you know, he'll draw something out in its full form, and then he'll erase a lot of things. He'll take entire sections of the body, the entire sections of the anatomy out, and redraw it, draw it over and over and over again until he gets it correct. Now, if you're if you're actually on a deadline and you're drawing comic books, you're probably not going to have time to do all that. But for pinup artists, for people who are just drawing or trying to create great art pieces is in the comic book form, don't be afraid to just erase things or even redo things. Take a look back and just like, hey, this is just whatever it is I did just isn't right, and I want to do it, and I want to do it right, because it's a learning process. You want to learn what you did wrong and try to correct that. A form of artistic repentance, if you will. You know, it's not that you're cheating, and it may be mundane for the people that have to see your artwork over and over again, but like you guys have to do here. But it's just a form of learning. Again, it's about being persistent. It's about persevering in your learning process. You're gonna make mistakes, and just as before, there are a lot of people that didn't mind the previous drawing. But when I look at it, I think to myself, there's something that just isn't right about it. The bust is another one. I mean, her bust doesn't make sense in the previous one. It doesn't fall back that far. And I guess the passion with the last video, you notice that her elbows are a little bit more acute. Is that she's pulling him in even closer than the previous iteration. But anyways, there's a whole lot of things, and I guess you can make the comparison between the two by pausing the video and just taking a look at the two, and you guys can make a decision for yourself. Anyways, that's all I got for today, guys. Always remember your 3 P's: persistence, patience, perseverance. That's how you're going to mature in any endeavor. Hey guys, if you like my content, please like or comment below. And if you want regular updates, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.